and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, Season 3, Episode 4, For the Glory. I am your host, Eric, with my main man over there, Ron. How are you? You are my main
I'm
man.
doing quite awesome.
Awesome. I like that. So much to unfold in the sports world today, as usual. So we're going to kick it right off with some news out of Carolina. So the Carolina Panthers have hired Frank Reich as their new head coach. I guess the first question would be, do you agree with the decision? And then ultimately we can discuss the Steve Wilkes situation.
Yeah, it's this is just kind of ugly. First of all, I don't think that was the correct hire. I think what we're looking at here is very similar. If you remember what happened with the Raiders, I think it's very similar to that. Now, the race thing might be a little different, but I'm looking at it, as everything is equal. I think what you're going to see from Carolina is going to be very similar to what happened to the Raiders last season.
Yeah, look, I want to say that first off, I like the hire. I do. Because I think they needed to get a coach in there that had NFL experience. Matt Rule coming out of college just wasn't going to work. Steve Wilkes did a very good job. Went 6-6 after taking over for Matt Rule, and I think there was an opportunity there. The direction that the team was going in may have been to say, let's get an offensive-minded coach, which would make sense. But at that point, they should have said it from the beginning and not given Steve Wilkes 2 interviews. I think that's where the breakdown is. You give somebody 2 interviews and then you hire somebody who's completely different. And to me, that's where the struggle is right now, where you've got to put the race card in there.
This is a constant in the NFL. They do and they do and they do these things over and over again, but yet the results don't add up. They don't add up properly is what really is happening.
No, absolutely. They keep saying they're going to change the policy. They got the Rooney Rule in effect, and it's going to make a difference when it comes to the hiring process. All that does is make them responsible to, interview a black coach.
Yeah.
That's all it is, because they're not getting jobs. They're not getting positions. And I think Steve Wilkes has a legitimate gripe here because this happened to him in Arizona.
Right.
That was a failed organization who had a GM that stunk. Yeah. And got Josh Rosen as the as their quarterback, who they got rid of the next year. And that was Steve Wilkes' fault. That's why he got terminated. No, another organization wanted to go offense. They wanted, that's fine. But then say that. At least say that and interview candidates that are offensive-minded coaches. Why would Steve Wilkes interview twice if you were going to go in an offensive direction? That makes no sense.
See, and again, it is all being, upfront with what's going on, and I don't know, the NFL just does things so shady and it looks really bad in the public eye. And frankly, the NFL really doesn't care what people think because they think they're bigger than
they've proven
what they really are.
Billions. They're going to make billions of dollars. It doesn't hurt them. Look, they're talking about expanding overseas and going to, England, Germany, and having teams over there as well. They don't care.
I hate that.
About this situation. They don't look at it and say, we have a systematic problem in the NFL. The owners are predominantly white. I think they're all white. I don't know if there's an owner that's not. And this is the result. They get,
Denver, I believe, has a CEO that is not,
but
and
not an
female,
owner, right?
not
Yeah,
an
but not
owner,
the owner.
not the
And
owner.
they ultimately make these decisions. I'm not saying, look, at the end of the day, I think Frank Reich's a good hire. I'm not saying, if you look at what happened in Indianapolis, the 4+ seasons he was there, he was 40, 33, and 1. They didn't win any division titles, and they were 1 and 2 in the playoffs. So you go, Eric, the numbers aren't great. But in 2018, when he took over the team, Andrew Luck retired. His
Right.
quarterbacks were Jacoby Brissett, Brian Hoyer, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, and Sam Ellinger. There's not many coaches that won 140 games with those guys.
Right.
You know, if the story may have been different in Indianapolis if he had Andrew Luck. So I can see the reason why they would want to go this direction, because again, if they can draft a quarterback and get somebody in there now, and he's going to be able to develop them, okay. I do still have a problem though that they interviewed him twice. If it wasn't for that fact, I'd be fine with this decision, because then I couldn't sit back and say, okay, it's not a race thing, and I can't get it out of my head, and it sticks out to me because of the Brian Flores thing as well in Miami. You look at the situation in Miami with Mike McDaniel, it wasn't any better. They didn't do any better.
No, and it was actually worse, to be honest with you.
Right? So,
You know, that's why when we opened, I looked at this as a very similar situation to the Raiders. You know, with their coach, he brought him to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, when things could have just completely fell apart with all the things that happened with the team. You know, but he brought him to the playoffs and then didn't get the job, and that is shocking.
Houston Texans.
Right.
You hire Lovie Smith. You hired Lovie Smith because he was black, because you were trying to make a look. They knew they weren't going anywhere.
Right.
And then realistically, it looks better for the NFL. I'm sure, again, and I keep saying this, my conspiracy theories, but NFL says, hey, look, bring him in for a year. It looks good for us. It looks good for the organization, right?
Yeah.
After the Deshaun Watson situation, right? Look, we hired a black coach. We put him in the position to fire him the next season anyway.
Yeah. It's wrong.
You didn't even give him a shot. That's not chance.
This is why, you know, this situation is a little different from the Raiders situation, because, you know, because of the color of the coach.
Yeah.
And which is just ridiculous. And you know, I don't like these race things. And I'm going to tell a quick story. I worked with kids in the inner city at the YMCA, and you know, when these, you know, 5 and 6 year olds used to come back to the YMCA after school, and you know, they tell me a story of something happened because he got in trouble at school, and it was always this black kid or this white kid or this Asian kid, and I would always correct them. It's just a kid. So don't tell me, you know, a race. Just say, hey, this kid did this. And until this country as a whole
Agreed.
can just say that this kid or this coach or that guy, it's never going to change.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No.
You know, it's never going to change because it's entwined into the culture right now. And
100%.
we need to get that out. You know, I'm tired of hearing, you know, and even when somebody says, hey, my best friend is black. Why? Why do you need to even say that? Like, you just say he's just your best friend. Yeah. Right.
I mean,
and that's what it should come down to.
We shouldn't be looking at people
exactly
based on their race. We should be looking at people based on themselves, on their personalities.
To get it out of the sports,
it's never going to happen, though.
You know, environment is so difficult because we have to do it.
Most popular sport in the United States, the NFL.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're systematically a racist organization, but the fans still are going to continue to flock and flood and give you billions of dollars, why change? Why change? There is no reason. And that's the problem. Look, I'm not bashing the Carolina Panthers because this isn't their fault. this has been created forever now. Like this
Right.
is something that just continues to happen every time. And you see these jobs that are opening now, and you don't hear a lot of these coaches, but they're going to mention a guy just to say,
Just to
look, we
mention him.
interviewed him. Gerard Mayo was the hot guy this offseason. Oh, Gerard Mayo there. We're going to ask him. No, you're asking him because he's black and you have to bring a black coach in to interview.
Right.
That's it. It has nothing else to do with it.
No,
it's not
it
that you
doesn't.
think he's more qualified or he's gonna an actual opportunity to get the position, because he's not. This proved it, because Steve Wilkes legitimately had the same team, if not worse, when he took over for Matt Rule. Somehow made it work. Somehow almost made the playoffs. Was a 500 coach with a team that shouldn't have been 500. I got
No.
a very good friend that I work with. He is a big Carolina Panthers fan. And he talked about how excited he was that they may make the playoffs. Like, that shouldn't even happen. And if Matt Rule was there, that wouldn't have happened. Guess what? Matt Rule is white. And
Yeah.
he didn't do a very good job. So how is it that Steve Wilkes, a black coach who got you 500, isn't worthy enough of the position? And I hope, you know what, once this lawsuit comes out with Arizona, and hopefully they can get something out of it. His law firm said that, and I quote, there is a legitimate race problem in the NFL. They'll have more to say in the coming days. So we'll see how that goes. But again, we're already fired up today. But
Right.
Frank Wright
And-
hired as the Carolina Panthers coach. That was our lead
And
off.
Eric, take it even a step further. Why isn't Flores in the conversation for head coaching? All these
Manny, thanks for
jobs
joining.
openings, it's like, why isn't he part of the conversation? Because I'll tell you, if I got a team, that's the man I'm hiring.
Again, you sue the NFL. This is the outcome. Steve Wilkes has a lawsuit in place against Arizona.
Right.
He's not getting a position. Brian
No.
Flores sued the NFL, not getting a position.
Nope.
It's just not going to happen now. They're gonna continue to make sure these guys don't get a job in this league. And
Hey,
you know
look,
what? Brian
know,
Flores is a very good coach.
If I had a few bucks, I would have bought one of those NFL teams, and it would have been, let me see the credentials. I don't even care
That's what
the
matters.
person looks like, what he sounds like. I want to see the credentials. That's what I'm gonna base anything on.
Yeah,
That's just it.
Realistically, yeah, proof's in the pudding.
Eric, it's no different than when we talk about, our order for pick and roll and, the triple play, start, bench, cut. I want the guy that's going to get the job done.
Yeah,
What
we're
the
not
guy
looking
to
at
get the job
what
done?
race they are.
Yeah,
Does that
I don't
really
care.
factor into it?
I don't care if you're purple. Doesn't matter to me.
Right? Hopefully at some point this gets, look, the only way this is ever going to change is financially. If sponsors decide to say, look, we're going to stop, giving you money, but that's never going to happen. I'm sure the Super Bowl commercials are going to be the highest paid that they've ever been, and people are going to continue to do it. And it's just, so the NFL says, okay, well, status quo, we don't have to change. Steve Wilkes deserves a job based on what he did. So hopefully that happens at some point. Let's continue, Ron. Good start to the show. We got Manny and Kenny here tonight. So excited about
Manny's
that.
Finally got a day off again.
I guess so. We're going to talk some New England Patriots football. And what is that all about? So the New England Patriots have hired Bill O'Brien as their offensive coordinator. Thoughts on the move? Look how thrilled he looks back.
Yeah.
Bill, they're ready to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So your thoughts on this?
Hey, the gang's all back together again, right?
Just
so
about. I said bring back Charlie Weiss and Romeo Crennel, and we really did.
Yeah, like how does Romeo Crennel isn't working right now?
Yeah.
I
think he might be up there in age. He may have decided to.
Yeah, maybe. But to me, all these
and the dogs are loose.
Yeah, they're all dogs out there.
So,
the dogs of these teams that are always at the bottom. They need to hire these old dogs to get back in the race, and and here we are. Bill saving face from his disaster of a season, which I put squarely on his shoulders.
So I'm gonna say this right now. Robert Kraft has taken over this team. And
I believe so.
I will give you a couple of examples why. First of all, New England Patriots really don't name offensive coordinators in general. Robert Kraft came out right after the season, made
I
some
know.
statements
There
about
will be
the
changes.
direction, right? And then you see them automatically interviewing for an offensive coach. They bring an offensive-minded coach in.
Yep.
They've not allowed Gerard Mayo to go anywhere else. They've basically put him side by side with Belichick, which I believe is a move to possibly make him the next head coach of the New England Patriots in the next
Could
couple
be.
years. But that's all Kraft.
Or
Kraft
Junior.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I think Kraft is the one controlling this now because Kraft is saying, look, what you didn't work. And I am not going into another failing season without allowing myself to have some say in what's going on with this organization now.
Right. I believe that as well.
This is where you start to see the end of the Bill Belichick era in New England, because this is where the Parcells situation happened. If you're going to let me, if you're going to want me to go get groceries, at least let me shop for them, right? Or make dinner. And you're going to start to see this with Bill. I think the telling sign will be during the draft. Where do they go in the draft? Bill Belichick don't like those sexy picks. It's going to be a, offensive lineman after they drop out of the first round to get in. If that doesn't happen this year, you can completely say that Robert Kraft is making all the decisions going forward for the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick is going to coach.
Yeah, and it's enlightening, to be honest with you, because we weren't too sure that Kraft was going to be able to do that, and it makes me wonder, just how much of a leash he has this season.
Look, 3 years, one playoff appearance.
Yeah, Kraft is upset. It isn't the fact that they, I want to say squandered the talent this year, but it's the fact that they took a step back and they looked bad, especially offensively. And that, again, lies squarely on the shoulders of Belichick because of the lack of leadership and basically the day-to-day things, those little things that he used to do so well. They weren't getting done this year.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great move for the organization.
Yeah.
Offensively, when Bill O'Brien was there, I went back and looked at some of the numbers from 2009 to 2011. The first year, it was sixth in points at 26.7, first in points at 32.4, third in points at 32.1 points. Last season, 21.4 points per game. So Bill O'Brien at least gets you about 10 extra points a game.
Yeah.
Right? Granted, and everybody's going to say he had Tom Brady. I understand that. But when you're an offensive-minded coach and have the ability to understand how plays are going to work and how to call plays and how to, you get your bang for your buck. And that's what Patricia couldn't do. Patricia played offense defensively. And that sounds crazy, but that's what he did.
No, it's exactly what he did.
You're going to now have an offensive-minded coach who's going to want to put the ball in places to get points, not to just make sure we don't create any mistakes and we'll let our defense handle it.
Right. It's just a lot. Like I said, a lot of those little things. Like, first of all, that lateral that blew the season,
which shouldn't have happened. But again, that's your coaching situation where Bill Belichick wasn't doing those little details.
Before this season, that would have never have happened because we have an offensive coordinator. Bill Belichick takes care of those little things.
Yeah, you actually run offensive plays to try to get down the field and kick a field goal, not run a draw, lose yardage, and then all of a sudden now you're going to decide with 10 seconds left you're going to again, great move for the organization. At this point, we're going to have to see how much leeway Belichick, to your point, has, because I've also heard that Bill O'Brien's going to kind of get some of the guys he wants offensively as coaches. So Adrian Clem rumored to be the offensive line coach. Patricia was the coach there. You can see Patricia's footsteps really going out the door here in New England. Joe Judge as well. They saying he's going to stay on the staff. I'm questioning. It definitely won't be on the offensive side of the ball. So a lot of changes coming to New England. But We've got some more important stuff to talk about. There's actually Chakra just subscribed. Thank you, Chakra.
Thank you so much.
So we've got some big playoff games this Sunday, my friend. The NFL Championship weekend. Really excited. We're going to discuss a little bit about both of these games before we make our predictions later on in the show. Chakra, make sure you stick around because you definitely got to get some wins up there. Manny having a really good start to the season so far, as well as Kenny. So, Philadelphia, San Francisco. So, 49ers at the Eagles. Thoughts on how this game's going to play out? Obviously, don't give a prediction. Every week we've tried to do this now for the last couple of weeks.
It's impossible because that's part of the whole thing.
What are you looking for? How about this? This is how I will word it to help you out. What does each team have to do to win the game?
Okay.
That makes it a little easier.
Okay. Well, first thing is, I think San Francisco needs to have a solid game defensively because let's face it, Philadelphia has some offense. And the running game is what they're going to try to do to beat San Francisco. So they're going to try to dictate the clock. They're going to try to run the ball, and if they can do that effectively, that is going to basically give them the time of possession because they can control the clock with a mobile quarterback like Hurts. I mean, that goes a long way, and he has the ability to throw the ball. So that running game is going to open things up for them in the second half. You just got to stick with it, even if it doesn't work at first. You have to stick with it. And defensively, they just got to contain and force mistakes from Purdy to see if he is human.
Yeah. So, and I agree with you. I think 49ers need to put up a game plan that's going to benefit Purdy and not put him in situations that could hurt him.
Right.
He cannot win the game for them. And I will say this now, and Manny, if you're still watching, I'm going to strike this from the record later on, but Dallas should have won that game. Dallas should have definitely won that game because I will tell you right now, Brock Purdy didn't play a good game.
No.
He did not look good at all. It's Dak Prescott looked worse or made mistakes in the red zone that cost them. So to me, this should have been Philly-Dallas. And so, again, can Philadelphia create enough pressure? Look what Dallas did. Get in his face. Make him uncomfortable.
But again, that's coaching.
Yeah, well, we said that as well. Mike McCarthy as well. So I will say that San Francisco at the same right has to make sure that they put a game plan in. Philadelphia on the other side, I think they have to make sure that they're continuous to push the ball down the field in the air. As crazy as that sounds, San Francisco gives up a lot of deep balls.
Yeah.
And I don't get away from that. Don't try to run around. Hurts still has that injury. And if you got him running around trying to do too much at the quarterback and takes a shot that could damage, that shoulder, next thing you know, he's out. He can throw the ball. Let him try to throw the ball.
Like, let's look at, when Dallas was throwing the ball. The San Francisco defense really contained CD. He got contained. But I don't really consider him a number one. And if he's your number one, that's a problem. And Dallas needs to address that next year. But now you're looking at a totally different situation with a number one receiver here.
A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Devontae
This
Smith.
is a little different.
Yeah, they got some burners on the outside.
Yeah. So, like I said, you set up that passing game with the run. So that first half be really run oriented. Establish that you will run the ball. As long as you don't give up the house on defense, you should be able to win this game. And, and then that'll open up that passing game third and fourth quarters, and you should be able to strike at ease,
So what about the Bengals at the Chiefs?
Yeah, this is a little different, right? I mean, because, the injury to Mahomes.
Which now, when you look at the tapes that they've been showing, he's running around without
so
it's pretty remarkable.
But I think it's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like Kansas City is trying to make him the hero before the game. I don't know,
Yeah.
because they're playing it off like it's casual. We're gonna see how it goes, blah blah blah. If he plays and etc. etc. No, this is Mahomes is fine. Mahomes is fine. But to me, this is them trying to say, hey, Mahomes is the guy of the future. He is the heir apparent to Brady.
Yeah. I could see where you're going with this, and exactly to your point. If he can win this game, and I'll say, look, on a hobbled ankle and what he was
Right,
able to do.
exactly.
There's different degrees of a high ankle
Right,
sprain, and
right.
I don't think this is the worst of them,
No, I don't think
because
so
you
either.
wouldn't even be walking the way you're walking. So
Yeah,
the factor here too, though, Burrow has beaten him 3 straight. They beat him, in the championship game last year. Little bit of a factor there. Does that mentally, and Kansas City's defense, we talk so much about Mahomes and what they're able to do, but can that defense put enough pressure on Burrow to shut them down? That's going to be a tall tale for them.
yeah. And then you look at what Cincinnati did to Buffalo in that weather.
With their defense, how well they played against a good offense.
Right.
And
And
if they can get some pressure, and you see Mahomes isn't able to move as well, or again, he takes a couple shots where again that thing gets re-aggravated enough, that could be a big factor in this game. This is a fun game though, because if you look at it, these are the futures of the
right,
NFL, right?
right.
And they talked about it in these playoffs, but you're seeing it right now. You're seeing it with
Yeah,
Mahomes. You're seeing it with Burrow, Allen. These guys are going to be legitimate contenders every year.
right.
So
You're absolutely right. And this is going to be a great game. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I think both of them are going to be good games.
yeah, yeah. Although we're going to boycott it because of the steep. No, we're not. So that's what I'm saying. Right here we go again. Ron, great discussion. Stay tuned. End of the show. Put your predictions in. We will be picking this game and our winners.
It's so tough to not say.
Yes, so tough. Ron, it is time for triple play, my friend.
Grounded to third. There's one. There's two. There it is. It's a triple play.
It's a triple play, my friend. Today, a little interesting. We're kind of going to stick with this football theme, and we're going to go the top 3 tight ends all time in NFL history with the most receptions. And they would be Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten, and Antonio Gates. I am first this week. We're going to decide who we start, who we bench, and who we cut. The interesting fact of this, though, Jason Witten, that was pretty impressive. Like, I didn't realize all the years, I didn't realize he had put up that many numbers when it came to receptions. But ultimately, I started Tony Gonzalez, played in 270 games, 1,325 receptions for 15,127 yards, 11.4 yards per reception, 111 touchdowns, 14 Pro Bowls, 6 All-Pros. So the man, just one of the best tight ends of all time. This is where I got a little questionable, because I started to look at it and I said, what do I want my tight end to do, though? If I'm going to have a guy back up my number one, what do I want him to do? And I want him to catch touchdowns. So I went Antonio Gates. Even though he played a couple less games, he played 236 games and less, obviously, the receptions, 955 receptions, 11,841 yards, a 12.4 yard per average on catches, which was the most out of these 3, 116 touchdowns, 8 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. I like the touchdowns. So Jason Witten, even though he had 300 more receptions, basically 1,228, 13,000 over 13,000
More
yards.
games played too.
271 games played versus 236, 74 touchdowns. And that's why I would cut Jason Witten. Great player. Honestly, when I saw those numbers, I was like, I was really impressed because, you've heard of, Jason Witten and the whole Dallas thing. I didn't think he was the second highest all time as a tight end. That was pretty impressive to me. But I went Gonzalez, Gates, my bench, and cut Witten.
So this is what I did. I pulled a Bill Belichick and I went off the board.
Uh-oh.
I'm starting Gronk. The heck with these guys. Gronk is the best tight end of all time. He just played a lot less games than these guys. He is the best tight end. So I went off the board and I said, I want Gronk. Brought him in. He's the starter. I'm benching Tony Gonzalez, and the other two guys can hit the
Wow.
road. That's what I'm doing.
We didn't
I pulled
see
a Bill
that one
Belichick.
coming today. We didn't see that one coming today. That is a good one, my friend. Look at you breaking out
But
Gronk. I did
Witten would
look,
have been cut before Gates.
I looked at and I did look up where Grunk was. He's kind of middle of the ground, but again, because he missed so many games
Right.
due to injuries.
He's still better.
And I
because
think he's
the total package.
I think
I
he's
mean,
he just got
drags
passed.
people with him.
Who passed him is Kelsey. I believe
Yeah.
Kelsey passed him in
Yeah.
playoff
Yeah.
receptions now, but Grunk was leading that as well as the all-time.
But see, Gronk, the best blocking tight end.
He was one of the best as well.
I mean, like every part of the game he excelled at. Every part. And the reason why he got injured was because he is so big and strong and drags people down the field. So they have to hit him low, and that's what causes those injuries. And that's why he didn't have, a long, healthy career.
Yeah,
And
no.
that's frankly the reason.
So you went off script, but we'll take it because
Yeah.
you know what? Today, you know what? Oh boy, you're gonna love this one. It's foreplay. Foreplay today on
boy.
Hey, it's episode
Boy.
4, my friend.
That's right.
So instead of triple play, let's do foreplay.
That's right.
You got to take
That's
me
right.
to dinner first, I'll make sure. All right. So
McDonald's
Woo.
okay? Oh wait, no. A burger joint okay?
yes, please.
McDonald's.
Okay,
McDonald's, I expect the check in the mail.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good job, Ron. That's how we'll get a sponsor on this show. We'll just start saying people's names. Look, you got to send us some money. It's
Wouldn't it be
NBA
funny, though?
time. We're going to talk some NBA. We're going to bring up the Boston Celtics logo here because we're going to talk a little Celtics.
Really?
We had some conversation last night with Kenny during the NBA
Is
ranking
that somebody's
show.
jersey?
No,
It looks
like
like a jersey,
no, it's not a jersey. It's just a picture. I don't know.
but it's wrinkled and.
Yeah, it's got a little. Well, it's got some, movement to it.
Well, who didn't play last night? Because it looks clean.
So Kenny and I had a conversation about the Boston Celtics, where they're kind of headed. They've lost 3 straight now. Lost to the Knicks last night.
Yeah, but
After-
they also lost to the Magic again, right?
Lost to the Magic again, in Miami
And that,
as well.
That Miami team.
So after winning 8 straight, now they've lost 3 straight. Your thoughts on the Boston Celtics, where they're headed? So the funny thing is, last week we were talking about after beating the Golden State Warriors, were they the favorites in the East? And now we're talking about what's the issues with the Boston Celtics. So
Well,
let's start there.
It's lack of consistency, right? And this is the reason why I still don't think they're going to win the championship this year, and they're not even going to be in the championship games because of that lack of consistency. And yeah, we can sit here saying, okay, Jason Tatum is having an MVP season and all this, but again, what happens in the fourth quarter is what matters. And I keep saying this, I stress it over and over again. It's like, I don't care you win 8 straight. Let's play consistent because you're losing to teams that you have no business losing to.
So
And that is the problem.
right. You lose to Miami, Jason Tatum, bad pass. But again, I could question the coaching decision, not taking a timeout and getting them set. And then Jaylen Brown yesterday, again, misses 2 free throws that could have won the game. So
And when
these
you
are the-
have
these
a
are your
New
two
York
horses.
Knicks player right next to him, laughing his butt off at him, I mean, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Here's the issue, and I'm going to tell you that it's going to start with Brad Stevens. And the reason why it's going to start with Brad Stevens is they need to name a head coach, because I don't think these players respect Joe Mazzulla. I really don't. I think at this point, Jason Tatum looks at it and says, this guy might not even be here next year. Like, he's not my coach. And they need to figure out what they're doing, because this isn't going to work in a playoff series where you don't have confidence in your coach to make a decision. So you're going to just go, free willy here and do whatever you want. And that's not going to work. You need
So here's another problem. Okay. He's not going to do that. And you want to know why? Because he wants a scapegoat at the end of the season. So he's going to say, okay, well, if he doesn't get back to the championship, then I can just say, okay, well, he's fired. He didn't get us there when we had a coach that did get
But
us
then what
there.
do? Do you bring Jaime back at that point? Like,
Right.
does that
And
happen?
this is
It's
what I'm saying. It's like
this is such a
it's
bad
chaos.
situation.
And
Yeah.
when you have chaos in the front office, you have chaos on your team, and it is no different than any other team that we talk about that has that front office like this.
Yeah, and the problem now is that the players aren't going to listen to you because they're going to look at the standings. They're going to see themselves in the first place position. Say, look at our record. We're playing well. We're in first place. But you need to know that going into these playoffs, look, Milwaukee Bucks have gotten much better. The Philadelphia 76ers have improved. The Brooklyn Nets, if healthy, have shown that they're very capable of winning as well. All three of those teams, you're going to have to face one of them.
Right.
And you're losing to teams like Orlando right now.
Right. Couple of times.
Three
Was
times.
it 3 times
in a row. But you know that game against Miami. Miami's a playoff contending team. You may face them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got to start to feel confident about the coach, the decisions, but that coach should have a voice. And I don't think that he does right now. I don't think
I never thought I'd hear myself say this, because I've always thought of the Celtics as a team that just got it done when they needed to get it done, right? When you have a team that can do it, they do it, right? They need to take a good look at themselves and then take a good look at the people that they share the building with. Because that's a team that doesn't take anything for granted right now. And yes, okay, they lose to Tampa Bay last night, right? But they played a pretty good game. And they were at Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is a team that's been in the Stanley Cup 3 years now. So losing to a Tampa Bay does not equal to losing to an Orlando Magic
Still a
or
Florida
a New York
team.
Knicks. But like the Bruins, they take a loss, they learn from it, they go right back out there and they put forward a great game again.
What's the difference with Boston? The coaching, the Bruins, the coaching, right? And you don't have, and I'm not saying Joe Mazzulla's horrible. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the position. What I'm saying is
you need to give him the position.
Yeah. Either say you're the head coach and you run the show, or you bite the bullet, get rid of Jaime and figure out who's going to be the guy. Because what this is going to do is going to break this team apart, because they need, as young as they are, they think they're top dogs now, right? They've been in the finals. They can win any. You still haven't won a championship.
Well,
and ultimately, that's what you're going to be judged by, especially in Boston.
Look, at the end of the season, when it's all done, wherever they finish, doesn't matter where they finish, you're going to have some players that are on the team that, played for Jaime. Then there's some of those players on the team that just came in. They only played for one coach.
Yeah, Missouri. Yeah,
and that's going to split the team. And what happens then? What happens then?
It's gonna look. It's gonna be an explosion. It's like a volcano waiting to explode.
Yeah,
that's where we're at with the Boston Celtics. Yeah. They are literally a volcano just waiting to explode. So this is gonna backfire on them.
So wait when they get bounced out by the Milwaukee Bucks.
And this is what
another team.
We talked about this a while ago, and I said this. To me, you needed to just suspend Jaime for whatever, a couple months, and now he should have been back, because you have a short window with these guys, and Tatum has taken the next leap, right? So now you would have had your superstar player, a head coach who knows how to win in the NBA at that level, and what a difference it would have made. Now what are we doing? Now we get a rookie coach who's trying to learn on the job. You're going to waste your superstar performance, and then you're not going to get to the finals. They're a finals caliber team.
Yeah, you're right.
Are you okay?
Yes, because I want to say something, but I don't know if I can step over the line like that.
Or a family friend.
Look, I got to try to put it as delicate as possible. Look, are you punishing Iduka for the lack of abilities in the bedroom.
I don't know what
You don't even know how to respond to that.
I don't,
priceless.
because again, we could sit back and say, is that the reason? Is that
I'm just
ultimately?
saying.
Nobody knows. Nobody really knows, because the
Because
Boston Celtics haven't said it either.
What does it matter if he slept with this person? You know what I'm saying? What does it really matter?
Look, at the end of the day, if you're trying to prove something,
I mean, outside of the marriage, I mean, that's different. That's different. She should divorce him and take everything.
What wins more for you? What wins more for the Boston Celtics? The fact that you stood up and said, okay, we're going to suspend him for who knows how long, or let him go at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
Or winning an NBA championship and hoisting a trophy,
right,
and putting another banner in this, and
yeah,
you know, in the rafters. Like, to me, that's what ultimately you're trying to do. This proves nothing.
No,
This proves nothing.
It's,
I don't
they went about
sit
it
back
all
and
wrong.
go, I don't sit back now and I say, oh, you know what? I respect the Boston Celtics, and that they're so, morally sound. Look at what they're doing.
Yeah, but they're not.
And they're going to lose in the finals, or in the third round, right? The Eastern Conference champ. But I'm going to say, they didn't bring back Ime. Look at what a great job. No, we're going to sit back now and go, well, what do they go from here? What are you doing?
Right.
What are you going to do?
The correct decision from the start was not done. Okay.
No.
There was two options. You say,
Fire
okay,
him
you're
right off the
fired,
right?
Or
here's your suspension. You're
Yep.
out for 2 months. Go get some counseling to figure
Yep.
out, keep it in your pants.
figure out life.
And then that's that. There you go.
Yep.
I don't know if keep it in your pants was probably the right one either, but
Well,
right.
It's fitting. Hey,
All right.
Look, we never said that we were gonna.
We tried to
be
we
easy
try to
on
be,
people.
yeah. We try not to be. So let's talk some Lakers, my friend. So there's been a trade in the NBA,
Yes.
and Lakers have traded Kendrick Nunn, 3 second-round draft picks for Rui Hachimura. So 2019, I believe he was a draft pick, a high 10th round, 10th overall pick, something to that effect. Do you like this move? And is it enough for the Lakers?
No.
No, right?
No,
They
it's
still got to
not
make some moves,
enough.
but I like this move. I think this is a very good move for them.
No, it's a good move. It helps. It helps.
Younger
it doesn't
player.
hurt, but they're gonna have like no draft class ever.
Yeah, I mean, what's the second?
It
round?
really doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Djokovic.
Matter.
Nikolai Djokovic, the only second-round draft pick I think to ever.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
do
one,
anything. Yeah, he's one of the best ever. But if you ever saw the video where when he was getting drafted, it was like a McDonald's commercial. That's 2 McDonald's, by the way. Pay us up. But it was a commercial airing while he got drafted, because they don't really televise the second round.
Can we claim that as some sort of a sponsor?
I think we can. I think we should. You know what? Let's not even ask the question. We're doing it. We're sending this show to the McDonald's Corporation, because we've mentioned them now 3 times on this show. Pay up. Pay up.
That's right. Because right now, all the fans right now are like craving McDonald's.
Yes. For Hachimura is 24 years old, averaging 13 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 1.2 assists, shooting 48.9% from the field. So they get an upgrade when it comes to shooting. Kendrick Nunn was having a very bad year, shooting 41%, 32% from 3-point. This kid last year shot over 44% from 3. He's not doing as well this year, but I could see this benefiting them. At least they get younger, and it tells the Lakers organization, so those veterans like James and Davis, like, we're not tanking. We're not trying to just let this season ride out. We're going to try to get you guys into the playoffs. The key is, though, to your point, A, health, but B, can they even get anything else, seeing that they don't have many draft picks? Kenny threw something out there which blew my mind, but they're talking possible Westbrook to the Bulls. And I don't understand why that benefits the Bulls at all. But, I mean, if they can get out of that Westbrook deal and get a player in return that's actually going to do something,
I'd even go further with this team, to be honest with you. It clearly wasn't working, right? So, yeah, okay, trade Westbrook. Trade him to the Bulls, whatever. Do what you want. How about trading Davis?
Yeah, they won't. They can't. And
Why
I get
not?
why. Because when he is healthy, he does make that difference on that team. He is a difference maker. He is too talented for them not to keep him, especially with the age of LeBron, because LeBron's not going to be there for many more years.
No, he's not. And that's
Davis,
why,
you got 5 more years out of Davis.
Do you? Do you really? I mean,
well, listen,
are you going to get 5 years out of him?
No, you'll get him signed for 5 years, play maybe 3 of the 5. Combined. We're putting combined. You're putting all the games together now. That's
if that. I don't even see him doing half of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'd dump him and get something for him. You know, some team that's going to make a push for the you know, the championship. I mean, you can still get a good player for him. You know, I mean, think about, there's some teams out there that are going to be looking to change things.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
but who knows? Maybe you can ship him to Orlando and get some youth from there.
Maybe. I doubt it, but
just saying.
We talked the Celtics and the Lakers today, my friend. How weird is that?
Yeah, it is weird.
You know what? We've been pretty fired up today. I'm really excited because this next segment is going to fire me up more than ever. And I think this might be the first time we're going to completely argue about this. Because
I don't know.
Major League Baseball has named Scott Rowland to the Hall of Fame. Your thoughts on his induction?
I mean, going by some of the numbers of Hall of Famers.
I mean, so fired up.
I mean, going by that, yeah, I can see him getting in. But do I think he's a Hall of Famer? No. He didn't. What did he lead in?
I'm going to tell you this. This is your fault. This is completely your fault.
How
I'm blaming it. I'm putting this squarely on your shoulders because you were the first one who said, "Oh, the steroid era," and I wouldn't let these guys in. So this is what we're getting now. We're getting average to maybe mid-level guys that are going to make the Hall of Fame now that clearly are not because of that. And then I'm going to tell you, this is what fired me up more than anything else. If I'm going to give you Scott Rowland's numbers, 17 years, 7,398 at-bats, 2,077 hits, 316 home runs, 281 batting average, 1,211 runs, 1,287 RBIs, 8 Gold Gloves, 7 All-Stars, Rookie of the Year, 1 Silver Slugger, 1 championship, right? You're like, okay, to your point, not bad. Todd Helton, who's not getting in.
Right.
Same amount of time, 17 years, about 600 more at-bats, 1,762, 25-19 in hits, so 500 more hits, 369 home runs, which is 50 more, 316 batting average, which is what? 30 more? 35% higher, 1,400 runs, 1,406 RBIs, 5 All-Stars, 3 Gold Gloves, 1 batting, 4 Silver Sluggers. He's being denied for the 5th time because now the writers are saying it's not a steroid thing. It's an arena thing. He played in Colorado, so his numbers. They're going to make every excuse possible.
I was just going to say
that. Guys out. This is ridiculous, Ron.
Look, I see the point.
They're idiots.
Look, you got to look at the big picture here. And I know why they're doing it. I know why they put Rowland in.
But go ahead.
No, not because of me, because I wouldn't have voted for him.
You won't vote for A-Rod.
No, I won't vote for A-Rod.
Why
is that so hard to say? We both messed that up.
A-Rod.
Vote for A-Rod.
No more drinking for us on the show.
Look at
we eat more McDonald's because that would soak up the alcohol. 5.
Look, how many third basemen have gone into the Hall of Fame?
A lot.
No, not
how many? What?
At all.
How many?
Third
what?
baseman.
Oh, third baseman. Oh, I thought you said how many.
Who was
players.
The last one?
I don't know.
Mike Schmidt.
Schmitty. Might have
was
been.
He the last one?
Would you like me to look it up while you continue your conversation?
Yes.
Let me see if I can find it. Go ahead.
But the fact is, there isn't a big representation of third basemen in the Hall of Fame, and when you look at his numbers, they were better than 3 of the players that are in there. And look, believe me, I don't agree with him being in there. And I don't think that the other guys should be in there either. But there is something to be said about being a star player in your era, right?
18 third baseman.
18. That's not a lot. When you really think of it.
Wade, Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones, Wade Boggs. So they were,
2018. 2018. And now Scott Rowland.
Yeah. Okay, so now, just looking at that, who's the odd man out on that? Scott Rowland, right? He doesn't really belong. Because when you think of, those eras, Wade Boggs was the best hitter in the American League at the time, right? Chipper Jones was the guy that carried Atlanta to a championship and a whole bunch of close ones.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of close ones, right? So, yes, he was in the forefront.
They had a pretty good
of the
pitching
league.
staff, though. Yeah, they had a pretty good pitching staff, too.
Yes, but he was in the forefront of baseball. Scott Rowland has never been there. Like he's an
But this is my point, though. So Todd Helton, who deserves it, it's not a performance-enhancing drug situation. Now, it's a stadium thing.
Right.
And so what are you going to say? So a guy that might win 100 games in Colorado as a pitcher gets in the Hall of Fame because he did it in Colorado, which is a home run park. So his numbers, you know what I mean? If he got 100 wins, he's got to be a Hall of Famer. This is stupid. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm suggesting to you, Ron.
To me, a Hall of Famer, you must have either 3,000 hits or 400 home runs or 1,500 RBI. You have to be at least one of those categories or runs.
So Helton wouldn't have got in according to you, but I would say this: at 316 batting average lifetime in 17 years,
batting average lifetime could.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So this is what I'm suggesting to you, Ron. I know you're going to say no way, but this is what they need to do. They need to let people in, even though there's suspicion. If you want to have a different plaque or a different wing of the Hall of Fame to say, look, that would make sense, because at least I could justify it and say, look, okay, he's going into the West Wing of the Hall of Fame. It's not considered, you know what I mean? The top,
roids.
Right? But yeah, whatever you want to call it. Right? But this is ridiculous. A guy like A-Rod should be in. A guy like Barry Bonds should be in. Over Scott Rowland? I would absolutely take that.
Yeah,
you're watering down the product now. Now these guys that are Hall of Famers, and you look at their careers legitimately, you go, wow, that was a Hall of Famer. Scott Rowland?
No, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. And shame on the writers for that. This is why we deserve those votes.
Absolutely.
We should be getting ballots, because this is just crap. The whole system is just crap. All right. So it shouldn't just be the writers. It should also be the actual Hall of Famers that are still alive should all get a vote. And in my opinion, that's the peers. The peers.
Agreed. And I will say this, Ron. Barry Bonds should get in for one reason then, because the wind, when it comes off the water, he had to take steroids to get the ball out further. Like, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how you're going to judge a player, not his performance, what stadium he played in. This is getting out of control now. Now you've got rules on rules.
So then you have to look back. Okay, so all those lefties that played in Fenway Park can't be in because they had the green monster to hit the ball off of.
Yeah.
So let's take out Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, Poppy, and Wade Boggs. Let's take them out of the Hall of Fame because
no New York Yankees can ever get in because they got the short porch.
Right.
And obviously you're going to hit more home runs, so they can't count those home runs. Right. Like, this is getting just ridiculous. Baseball is so broken.
The fact that you can sign and go any way you want. So what matter does the park matter? It shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't.
In my opinion, it doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Now, would I vote for Helton? No, but
I'm not saying that either, but don't keep him out because of that. I would put him ahead of Rowland.
Oh, absolutely.
And now they didn't because of the park. That was the one knock they gave, is the park. Get out of here. So
that's a cop-out.
Performance enhancing drugs, we can't. If you gambled in the sport, you can't get in. If you play in a park, an arena that was considered Like, how many more rules can you make before you're going to just keep watering this thing down? You're going to have
Yeah.
guys batting 220 getting into the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame because that's what you're
see,
left with.
this is a product also of the steroid time, right? It's a product that now you don't know what to do with these guys. And that has become a problem when we're not going to solve that problem until, another 10 years. And the fact that Fred McGriff didn't get in, who was never linked to
He got
steroids,
voted
and he
in.
has better numbers than almost half the guys in the Hall of Fame.
Well, he got voted in, but he got voted
It
in on
went
the
through the other way.
Yeah,
Through the veteran
but
committee.
it's just, I just don't understand. Put a separate wing, give these guys, put them in the Hall of Fame where they belong, because this is getting to be ridiculous, Ron. We're just not.
Yeah.
Listen, and I will say this, Ron, if you look at it, baseball needed the steroid era because they were failing. They were going under. And then Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and that run and what they did, baseball knew. Baseball knew. And if they didn't do it, they would have been under.
It's funny because did Mark McGwire ever get suspended?
No.
Did Sammy Sosa?
No. Because again, they didn't start testing till later on when people are like, oh, they're taking steroids.
Why do you think these guys never got suspended? Because they
needed
didn't
them.
They needed that record book to be.
They needed those
clear.
guys. They needed those guys. They needed Barry Bonds. They needed Barry Bonds. Like, okay, but then when it comes to putting him in the Hall of Fame, now we're he performance enhancing drugs.
Yep.
Those
Absolutely.
writers knew. Those writers know what those guys were doing. Get off your high horse for 5 seconds and think about it, because I guarantee you're not perfect either. Maybe you shouldn't be a writer for the baseball.
For that matter, let's take Babe Ruth out because he was an alcoholic, a drunk, and he wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
Let's take him out.
Absolutely. Gone. See you later. All right, my friend. We are on to our face-off.
Face-off.
You talk about it all the time. Break a clean face-off win.
This face-off absolutely stinks.
What?
Because it's one-sided, and it's easy for you to choose which one you want, and there's no arguing it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So our segment is, should the NFL change the MVP to position based? So not just an MVP, but MVP of a quarterback, MVP, wide receiver, running back, etc. And I am absolutely 100% for this. And I will tell you why. Because it is quarterback dominated. This category is absolutely ridiculous. This year, the finalists are Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Hey, and we'll throw in Justin Jefferson. Has zero shot of getting it. Last year, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. That's all they do is pick quarterbacks. You're never the positions that the numbers that Justin Jefferson put up were ridiculous.
Yeah. No, look, I mean, this is what it is. It is what it is. That's why they have the All-Pro team, where you actually find who the guys are that are the best in the league.
But this is where I'm saying when we do our numbers sometimes and we break them down, we'll go, oh, he won an MVP or he won 4 MVPs, right? And we start to look at it. It's diluted, though, because there's guys that are never going to get it. There's not going to be a running back that's going to get it. Faceless, thanks for joining. There's not going to be the wide receivers or the defensive Micah Parsons of this world or Joey Bosa's, right? Oh, you can win defensive player of the year, but you're never going to be a most valuable player because quarterbacks are going to dominate this category every single year. And because of the league, because it's a passing league, and their numbers are going to be ridiculous.
Yes, and that's the face of what everybody is tuning in to see. And yes, to all of those things. But to put an MVP for every position is kind of ludicrous. And that is that's basically the All-Pro. That's the All-Pro team.
You put 3 guys in every category, 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, and you make
the All-Pro. It's the same
tight
thing.
end MVP.
And the All-Pro is the same exact thing. That's what you're saying. It's the All-Pro. And right there, it just tells you the answer. It gives you the answer to yourself.
Patrick
So it is
Mahomes.
no, you don't do that.
Hold on. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. If they win the MVP, can they still be all pro?
Yeah,
Right. So what's the point of the MVP then?
right. This is
Just
what
make it
I'm
all
saying.
pro and get rid of the MVP, or
Right.
make everybody eligible for the MVP in particular categories.
No, then you just get rid of the MVP because it
Can an
doesn't make
offensive
any
lineman
sense.
win the MVP?
No,
Is it? Why not? They can.
because they're not going to.
They never will.
No, they never
Right?
will.
Give them the offensive MVP, offensive lineman MVP.
But when you think
It makes
about
sense.
when you think about it, see, this is again, this is the process that is kind of
Makes sense.
skewed towards one position, and who votes on it? Who votes on it?
Fans, a little bit of everybody.
Writers?
I think.
It's the
A little
writers,
bit
right?
Writers, fans, writers. A bunch
Again,
of idiots.
when you leave it up to the writers, it doesn't come out right because first of all, there are biased writers that
will
let's
keep
face
somebody
it.
out because they don't like them.
Right.
So to me, I get it. I get it. But I can continue going on this for 5 minutes if you like, Ron. I mean, I don't have a problem talking about this. I know you may have to step away for a second.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I will say this though. At the end of the day, whoever wins this MVP, I think Justin Jefferson's going to get screwed out of it.
No,
That's
yeah,
me.
he's not winning. It's going to be Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it very well could be, just based on the record. Him and Mahomes. Let's talk some NHL, my friend. We're going to talk some Bruins here. I know it's so hard for you to talk Bruins because you never like talking about the Bruins. Did the Tampa Bay Lightning, with that win, show that they're still the kings of the Eastern Conference with the win over the Boston Bruins last night? So
Okay,
again, 3 straight. You said it. 3 straight Stanley Cups.
Who
Who's
said that they
Boston?
weren't the ones to beat? I never said that.
Boston Bruins have the best record in the
It
NHL.
doesn't matter.
They've been
but
the most dominant team.
That doesn't matter. Regular season does not matter.
Okay, go ahead.
When they both enter the playoffs, that's when it matters. It's it's simple when you're the top dog.
Top dog.
Right? You have to be dethroned. Tampa Bay Lightning is the top dog in the Eastern Conference, and until they get knocked off by somebody, they're the top dog. I don't care where they're placed in the playoffs, because it looks like this team is going to make the playoffs. I just don't. You can't say that they're not the best team right now.
So what you saw from the game last night, Boston gets down a goal, rallies back, gets down another goal, rallies back, and it took a late face-off one-timer by Kucherov to win that game. Did that at least prove to you that Boston can compete with Tampa in the playoffs? Like,
absolutely.
Last 10 matchups against the Lightning, they're 7-3. Boston. Yeah. So they've pretty much dominated them, except when they need to is going to be the playoffs.
Right.
If they face them in the playoffs, Ron, your prediction, can Boston beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, or does that experience matter?
I think they can.
So just a quick snapshot of what we saw
it was
last
one of
night.
those things. It happens. Look, they didn't get run out of the building. They're on the road. They just won 6 in a row. And you're going to go in. Tampa Bay is going to be up for that game.
It's a little bit of that, too. We're getting spoiled. Like we talked about with the New England Patriots, and they won so many years in a row, and we were just expecting every year they were going to be in the playoffs.
I don't see that with this team. I think
with the Bruins this year, though, I'm saying the winning. Like we just expect them to just win every game.
No, and that's not what because this is a tough road trip.
Yeah, and we talked about it during the NHL power rankings.
Now, I fully expect the Bruins to bounce back and then beat Florida, but then they're going to have to bring that and up that ante to play Carolina, and that is not going to be easy either.
Stay tuned to the end of the show for that prediction as well. Yeah, so, look, I agree with you. I think the Boston Bruins realistically aren't going to win every game. We understand that, but I think that they showed a lot of heart traveling to Tampa, knowing that environment, how tough it was going to be.
Absolutely.
And being able to continue to do what they normally do is, look, they get down, they come back, they make those goals. it's going to be fun to see. This NHL playoff season is going to be amazing. This postseason, because I'm telling you right now, there's so many good teams, so
Yeah.
many good teams.
Yeah.
But let's talk about another player who's been pretty popular and is now injured. And how big is this for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Austin Matthews will miss at least 3 weeks with a sprained knee. How does this affect the Maple Leafs right now, currently third in the Eastern Conference, but tied with Carolina with 68 points? So that 3 seed. I looked at this and I thought, Ron, this is probably the best time for him to have this injury because of the All-Star break and some of the way the games are played. He may only miss like 6 games.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
Considering he's too important of a player. They do have some talent. We've talked about it with Marner. You know what I mean? They have guys.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, this is actually a blessing for them. Blessing in disguise. Like, nobody wants to lose a player of that caliber. Like, let's be real. But he's going to be out. This team is now going to know where their flaws are.
That's a good way to look at it. I like that.
And they're going to have about 6-7 games played without, their star player, even though he's not even really, their best player this year.
Yeah.
But he is their best player. And they're going to take a look at those 7 games, and they're going to say, okay, we need this now because, if we lose a piece, this is where we're going to have to make it up. And they're going to need to do that in order to make sure that they can get a deep run in the playoffs. And that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah. This may, to your point, cause them to have to, look at the trade market and say, look,
Right.
what pieces do we need? I think that's a great way to look at it. And I think, again, him not having to miss multiple, a multitude of games because of the break, it kind of benefits them as well because
Right.
they can sit back and say, okay, well, look, if we got to sit back 6-7 games and just see what we have. Does this affect them, though, from a standings perspective? Do you think this may cause them to?
I mean, they could drop a spot because basically Tampa Bay is right there as well with them. And, but it could hurt them in the long run. It might be the difference between, getting a home playoff start than on the road to start.
Yep. So it'll be important. We'll have to see how this all turns out.
There's still a lot of hockey left, so it should not affect them. It should.
Yeah. Agreed. And I love that. That's
and
the
if it does
insight
affect them, then it's on them. Then there is flaws.
That's the insight you get from Sports Unfolded. We turn a negative into a positive. Great job, Ron. Great job turning a negative into a positive.
And I can also do the opposite if you want.
Yeah, you've done that plenty of times. Don't worry about that, my friend. It's pick and roll time. Let's see if we can hear my wife here.
Get ready for the pick and roll.
Get ready for the pick and roll, my friend. This one's a weird one because we're at number 4, so episode 4. This is what we decided to do. We've taken 6 players that have played for the Lakers at some point in their career. And all 6 of these players have won 4 championships in the NBA. Doesn't necessarily mean they've won them all with the Lakers. But they've won 4 championships.
Mm-hmm.
And those players are Horace Grant, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, Kurt Rambis, John Sally, and Jamal Wilkes. We're going to rank them from 6 to 1. I am first this week, so I will start us off, my friend. At number 6, I don't know how this man won 4 championships. Definitely rode that bench to some victories and some parades. Kurt Rambis.
I mean, we should not have a different list here.
Yeah, I hope not. Kurt Rambis, 880 games, 5.2 points per game, 5.6 assists, rebounds, 1.1 assists. Never won anything other than the 4 championships. No other extracurricular.
Did he win any fights?
No, Boston always used to kick. Oh, we're getting really. Oh, yeah. Let's get those Lakers. Come on. At 5, John Sally. 748 games, 7 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists. again, never won anything else except for the 4 championships.
See, that's another reason for the title, For the Glory, because 4 championships of
For
glory.
the
You know?
glory. I love it. At 4, Horace Grant, who I thought would be a little higher on this list, but then when I looked at the numbers, 1,165 games, 11.2 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1 All-Star, 4 defensive time player of the year, and 4 championships. But I didn't even know Jamal Wilkes. I had to look this, and I'm like, when I looked up his numbers, 828 games, 17.7 points per game, 6.2
good, huh?
rebounds, 2.5 assists, 3 All-Stars, 2 defensive player of the year. He was the rookie of the year and
Yep.
4 championships. So I was like, no, not bad. Jamal
pretty
Wilkes.
good.
So 1, 2, obviously we kind of knew where we were going to go. It was going to be one of these two for the 1 spot. I went Shaquille O'Neal at 2. 1,207 games, 23.7 points, 10.9 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 15 All-Star appearances, 14 All-NBA, 3 Defensive Player of the Year, 2 scoring titles, an MVP, Rookie of the Year, obviously the 4 championships. But LeBron James has to be number 1. 1,405 games, 27.2 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 7.3 assists. Now going to his 19th All-Star game after this one coming up. 18 All-NBA, 1-time assist champ, 1-time scoring champ, 6-time defensive champ, 4-time MVP, a Rookie of the Year, 4 championships. So of the players from the Lakers who've won 4 championships, LeBron James, the number 1.
4 championships.
Number 1.
Okay, so number 6, I have LeBron James. No.
Yes, there it is. There it is.
No, I have the same exact list. It hurts that I had to put LeBron ahead of
number
Shaq.
1. This has got to be the most difficult thing you've ever done on this show. Because
I know, because it wasn't fair. Like, why isn't Magic in there?
Because 5. Magic's 5.
I know. So, unfortunately, Magic is just a better player, and that's why he's not on the list. You know, so
wow.
You know, it's like I have LeBron 1 spot higher than Shaquille O'Neal on my all-time list. 1 spot higher,
but not on the pick and roll.
But not on the pick. No. But I mean, like, LeBron is a better player than Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't deny the talent.
Listen, he's going to be the all-time scoring leader in NBA history.
Yeah, unfortunately,
you're not that successful if you don't have some kind of talent. And again, like, 27 points a game.
It's like in the NHL, like when they get like 1,000 points or whatever, they give a nice hockey stick, right? Are they going to like give LeBron like a box of tissues or something? For doing all that crying a lot of years.
Oh boy.
Crying. I have to take my shot at him. I had to put him at number 1. You think that makes me happy?
Yeah, I love it. I knew that's where you were going to go. I knew it was going to happen.
I hate it.
Hey, it is prediction time. Hopefully, Kenny.
Larry's still better than him.
Manny, Chakra, you're still there because you got to make sure you give us some picks this week. This is where we stand. Whatever. We all went 500. All went 4-4 last week.
Yeah, I tried to give you an opportunity to catch up, but you didn't do it.
We split on the 2 that we had different.
I know.
On the 2 that we had different. So, again, if you give us your picks, we'll get you on that list, and we'll continue to have this list grow. We're picking some of the toughest games during the course of the week. So it's an interesting week this week. A lot of great games. And we got the NFL championship weekend too. So get your picks in as we are calling them out. I am first this week, so I will start us off. January 28th, you got the Denver Nuggets at the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers are hot, and Denver doesn't play as well on the road. I'm going Philadelphia in this one.
Yeah, I'm glad you went Philadelphia because I'm going Denver. I think Denver is going to catch them right at the right time where 76ers feel so good about themselves, pats themselves on the back. Oh, we're gaining ground. We're going. Oh. Oops.
Run into a wall bar. Jokic. The Joker.
Oops. They're going to choke because of the Joker.
February
in.
1st, you got the Brooklyn Nets at the Boston Celtics.
I'm gonna go Boston Celtics on this one.
I went Celtics as well. I think
At
they
home.
bounce back.
I think they'll
And
be okay.
Still no Durant. February 2nd, you got the Memphis Grizzlies at the Cleveland Cavaliers. I got Cleveland in this, believe it or not, because Memphis is not very good at home. On the road, I'm sorry. On the road, they just have not played well. I think they're one game over 500 on the road. So I'm going Cleveland here. Cleveland plays very well at home.
I agree. I went the Cavs in this. Yeah, I just think, home court matters. It does matter. In the NBA, especially because you get the calls, and with Cleveland playing that well at home, they're getting those calls.
Kenny went Cleveland as well. All right. Kenny's on the board here. Hockey, some NHL, January 27th. You got the New Jersey Devils at the Dallas Stars.
Oh boy. These two good teams. I want to say the Devils, and their road record is just spectacular. And I'm going to go New Jersey to win this game. I still think the East is better than the West, and New Jersey just plays lights out on the road.
I looked at that road record, and you can't tell me. I think they've had 2 losses all year on the road.
2 losses, yeah.
So good on the road, New Jersey. And again, the Eastern Conference is so much better. January 27th as well, you got the Vegas Golden Knights at the New York Rangers.
This will make... Oh, no, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Nope,
this
go
is
ahead.
going to make, Vegas fans very upset because, again, we're talking about the strength of the East, and I think the Rangers will take this based on the fact that, look, the East is such a better conference right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, Golden State, like I said on the hockey show, they have a below 500 record since their start of 16-2. They have played poorly. And I don't care what those Vegas fans say. I don't care what the standings say. That is not good hockey. And they're going to go into the Rangers. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's a blowout.
Okay, we'll see. January 29th, the Boston Bruins travel to Carolina to face the Hurricanes. Ron, this is yours, man. Good luck.
Yeah. I think the Bruins circled this one on the calendar because this is a team that needs to win in Carolina because they don't want a repeat of what happened in the playoffs where they couldn't beat them in Carolina. Yeah. They're going to go. They're going to play their best game of the season and come out of there with the win against the Hurricanes.
I agree with you. I went Boston. I think the motivation behind this is to say, look, last season we didn't forget. And we're the best team in hockey right now. We're going to show it and prove it in Carolina. So, no, great one. Just waiting on Kenny's got Boston. Kenny's got nothing but Boston love. Manny goes the opposite way every time from Boston. January 29th, you got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs AFC Championship game, my friend.
My pick,
my pick or your pick? My pick. It's my pick first, right?
Oh, okay.
Yep, it is. I am going Cincinnati. 4 straight. Burrow. I think the defense on Kansas City is what scares me more than the injury to Mahomes. So I'm going Cincinnati here.
Yeah, I did as well. I think the Bengals are just a better team. Yeah, look,
I love the way Kenny spells the Bengals every time. I love them.
Yeah, Susanna Hoff leading the way.
He walks like an Egyptian every day.
Look, they just have the all-around better team to me. And I know, Mahomes may be the better quarterback, maybe. But what I see from Burrow, he doesn't panic.
Yeah.
And we saw him get hit time after time after time. I think he got sacked, 7 times in a game in the playoffs last year? He still came out on top.
Yeah.
He doesn't panic. There is some panic in Mahomes when you get to him. And if they get to him, look out. This could get ugly in a hurry.
Yeah. No, great point. Also, January 29th, the NFC Championship game. You got the San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going San Francisco. And look, I like the Eagles team, but I do like that San Francisco defense. And I do think that they have a good balanced offense. And, coaching. I mean, I'm not saying that the Eagles, are lacking in ability of coaching or anything. I just think, Harbaugh is, not Harbaugh. Oh my God. Thinking of before. I can't even think of his name now.
You got Sirianni for the Eagles, and you got
No.
Shanahan.
Yeah, Shanahan. Oh my God. Shanahan is just that much better of a coach. Look, he's made Purdy,
You
very
just got to
good.
say it. Oh, you didn't say pretty good this
No,
time.
I
All
didn't
right.
say pretty good.
Listen, I don't.
But he is pretty fine.
Yeah, I did not think that Purdy played well in the last game. I
No,
think
but he doesn't
Philadelphia
need to.
But I think Philadelphia has the talent offensively to throw the ball deep, which is one of the
Yes.
weaknesses of the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
And I think that defense is going to rattle Purdy enough to win that game.
Yeah,
I'm
not
going
sure they're
Philadelphia.
going to. I'm not
Going
sure they're going to rattle
Philadelphia.
him.
So we've got two different again, my friend. We'll probably go 500 again.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Kenny didn't give us a pick on the NFC, so if he's still out there.
Probably scared. He's scared.
Never scared. So, Ron, before we give our final thoughts, if you want to tell the fans out there or any organizations, especially one we mentioned 5 times today, how they can sponsor
McDonald's?
6, good job, how they can sponsor Sports Unfolded and get your name all over this broadcast.
It is so
Let them know.
simple. So simple, a caveman can do it.
Hey, that's a little Geico. Oh, Geico, there we go.
No, but seriously, you can just send us an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information, but really it's quite simple. It costs less than going to one of those donut shops and getting your coffee and a donut for breakfast. It costs less than that, and it costs less than a dozen of eggs, folks.
Yeah,
It costs less than that. So
get on that email. Make sure you reach out to us. Follow us on all our social media platforms. They've been running that ticker the whole time. SEC TV, Public Access Channel 12 in Southeast Connecticut. We're on Tuesday nights there. So if you enjoy what you're watching, check us out. Join us live Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday. And make sure you just share and follow, my friends.
share.
Penny's going 49ers. Maybe
Smart
we're on
man,
a delay.
you went with me.
All right, my friend. So it is final thought time, or thoughts. So
Don't
as
do it.
as usual, I have 2. I
It's
know
not
how
even
much you love
fair,
it.
man.
This is
It's
why I
not
keep
even
doing it.
fair.
I keep doing it to you.
Yeah.
But first one, congratulations to the United States. 2024 Copa America will be in the United States. And we've started to get on this football bandwagon a little bit with the Just for Kicks show with Brian and Manny and how great that is. Think about this.
Hey.
This is
Will they have a cabana there?
at the Copa Cabana. Very good. So 16 of the top teams kind of from Central America, North America probably will be getting a spot based on being the host country. But that's really exciting to see that they're bringing it to the United States and trying to expand the sport here. And then I did want to go, again, one sad note, and it seems like every single week we're getting these now, Ron, but Billy Packer passed away at the age of 82. One of the NCAA Final Four great announcers. Like, he was just one of those guys that I'm not a big college basketball fan. I'm not. It's just not something. I mean, I like college basketball, but I don't follow it. But when I watched those games and the way he used to be able to just get me so involved, it makes me love the sport even more. That sometimes we talk about those announcers and what they meant to the games. He was one of those guys for me. And it's just sad to see, again, 82, he was great, Kenny. He made the NCAA. Every time you knew that those Final Fours were coming, you were going to hear his voice. It was going to be a great announce the game. Heaven's getting a great one up there. He'll be calling games up in heaven, though. So Billy Packer and his family, our condolences here from Sports Unfolded.
They're going to have quite the coaching staff up there, aren't they?
Yeah. What a next year's memoriam's going to be even tougher, man. It's getting a long list already.
Yeah. All right. So to make up for Eric's 2 final thoughts, I'm just going to wish everybody a happy week, and we'll see you next time.
All right, my friend. Thank you for joining us live. Chakra, Faceless, Kenny, Manny, you guys have been great. If you're going to follow us, join us after, just make sure you follow us and share our show. We appreciate it.
Subscribe to Chakra _power on Twitch. Go check them out.
Yeah,
Thank you
pretty
for
cool.
the
I've
subscription.
actually watched a few now. It's a pretty cool stuff. Take care, Faceless.
And
Thank you again.
Faceless _PTs. He'll also here.
Check it out. Check him out on Twitch. Ron, as always, all we ask for is peace on earth.
That's right. Have a good night.